Welcome to another fully functional episode of Strange New Pod. I'm your Fleet Admiral and host, Julian Brown, alongside the best bridge crew this side of a good airlocking. We had one of those today. It did happen. Commander Hawk, you are here. And the amount of all caps text that we exchanged during this episode rivals, wait, what am I writing? I always think I'm being funny, and then I don't remember what I wrote in the outline.
That was funny.
And then the joke goes, I know it is, but I read it wrong, so I'm going to read it again. Yeah, our all caps text that we exchanged during the data scenes, right? Rivals a Karen writing a bad Yelp review. Captain Giraffe, you are also here, and I know that you have some opinions on how character arcs work, and they're good opinions too, by the way. We're going to get into those. And finally, Lieutenant Commander MC is here. And to quote her, when the fuck did Betazoids become Vulcans? I wish they had that as a soundbite, actually. It's a good one. I really like it.
Did Betazoids become Vulcans?
I don't know. Nobody knows, but they did.
Well,
So, Julian's on the wrong side tonight. It doesn't matter what side I'm on. I'm on whatever side the Zoom wants me on. This is where I am
to
tonight.
answer like the Betazoid thing, it's like when you want McDonald's and your mom tells you, we have McDonald's at home, you know? And like you want Vulcans, like we have Betazoid at home. You'll do. It will do. It will work for what you need. It's fine.
Yeah. Vice Admiral Eric is off this week, wishing him well. And then, we'll hopefully see him back for episode 9 next week. Welcome back, guys. How are we doing? Good?
Good.
yeah. Better now that we're here.
Better now that we're here is always the right answer, in my opinion. This is the happy place, the good place. That isn't, it's the good place. It really is the good place. This week.
Yeah,
go ahead. What? Hit it.
Can I flaunt my new earphones?
Yes, please do.
Please.
Flaunt. They're so cool. And they light up too.
Yeah, apparently, sorry.
No, it's all right. It's really cool.
I can't see them, so it's like, I suppose you're seeing them.
By the way, one of you did not pick up Eric's Slack. None of you have an ice cream bar. What is going on?
Oh.
I'm eating rice and avocado. Does that count?
I'll allow it. I'm having a margarita, but that's not ice cream. So yeah.
You can freeze it.
Having edited podcasts before, I make a habit of not eating on them.
Yeah. No, I try not to. But Eric, I like that Eric has his ice cream moments on the pod. Ice cream break this week, guys. With Vadic still in control of the Titan, are the crew able to wrestle back control? Speaking of wrestling back control, in an epic battle over data synaptic pathways, who is able to become the dominant mind, Data or Lore? And with Deanna and Will still imprisoned, who comes for an epic rescue? We're going to break it all down, but first, Eric would have been up, but it bounces to you, Hawk. We need to thank our patron collective members at the Ready Room level and above, please, sir.
So thank you to Jeff Reeve, Mariah Gossett, Tallulah, Jen Stein, Tina Alexander, Joe Saporito, Noe Santos, Kang Wee, Takako Nagumo, Kara Kennedy, Fernando Nogales, SMK, Laura Linderman, Colin Davidson, Alan Davis, Shatterhand 2049, Jesco, Michael Graham, Emily and Travis, Gildara, Cassie, Hawk is still King Friday, at least until the beard goes, Maggie Light, Ally of the Canadian Takeover, Wayne Ritz, Skona Vark, Sean, Jay Howard, Mahalani Uchiyama, Matt Harker, Joshua Lewis, Cassie McIntosh, David Willett, Tara Paulin, Slope 74, Rude Parakeet, Alex Sharkey, Joshua Miller, Adam Sanders, Amy the Magic Snail, Aris Benjamin, Lanky Guy, Cynthia Markey, Aaron Volke, Carl Angoli, and our newest collective member and possibly future pun master, Michael Kwan. Thank you.
Indeed.
Also, a big thank you to our executive producers, Chris Todd and Simon Stager.
Woo, woo, woo. And we also have a special guest in the YouTube chat tonight. Yeah, so hail from Starfleet Boys in the house, which is pretty awesome. So welcome. Good to have you. Do we have any news before I have the one bit of news that's on here? Does anybody else have any news? I'm trying to get through it quick tonight. Good.
Yeah, we just Trek Long Island is in a month.
In a
I
month.
Can't.
I'm writing the panel. I promise. I promise it's happening. That'll happen this weekend sometime.
Not ready.
No, I'm not ready either. I still haven't bought my ticket.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I don't have airplanes here still, so I don't know. Maybe I'm walking. Who knows?
Forrest Gump it. I like it. The only other news is happy hour next week. Gonna decide on the time. If I'm hosting it, it's gonna be before the pod because I can't do late nights anymore. But we'll figure it out. But I'm thinking before the pod next week. So, MC, are you allowed to talk about your thing yet? That you're going on again?
Oh yes, I'm going to be on Trexpert Quiz tomorrow. I'm a scorekeeper for them.
Nice,
So,
awesome.
Yeah,
very, very cool. Let's see. That's it, man. We're gonna breeze through this show tonight because I gotta go to bed. I gotta go to bed. It's my first week of work. It's been a blast, but the early mornings are a new thing for me. It's very unique. No strange new loop this week because I feel like all the things that could have been a strange new loop we're gonna just talk about in the episode anyway. So if you had one, maybe give it to us in the chat or on Discord, and we'll maybe turn it into a TikTok or a YouTube short and do it that way.
Ooh,
so let us know.
Let
us know. Chat, keep all of your comments and questions coming all night long. Looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say about this one. It is our review of episode 308. 308. Two more to go. Two more to go. That is called Surrender. Our order tonight is going to go MC, Hawk, Giraffe, followed by myself. Let's go to the Jack in the box. Jack Crusher. Vadic is set on getting Jack, and with the ship captured, goes about using like very stereotypical captor tactics that we've seen in TV and film for decades and decades and decades. And that's the threat of killing someone on a countdown. Although it is like a little stereotypical, right? What do we think about Amanda Plummer's acting here? Because what I've been seeing is it's just been beloved by everyone. MC.
she has been incredible this season. Like, she is giving us a cinematic performance every week that she is on, which is a really hard level to keep at. And she's been doing it so fucking well. So yeah, no, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, agreed. She's been top level. Did you notice the line in there? It's like, I'll execute every one of them.
No, did she really?
Yeah, I was on the second rewatch. It was like it sounded so close to the line from Pulp Fiction.
Oh, how did I miss that?
But again, yeah, great going down the line and that making them reveal personal information about themselves just to kind of tug at Jack a little more. Oh, it was fantastic, and then just the whole randomness of it, which is exactly what inspires the fear. She's been fantastic. I don't know what else to say. She's great. The eyes, the voice, the fact that she plays down parts that she normally might just scream out. Just top shelf acting.
Yeah, 100%. Draft, before you go, MC, you're getting compliments on your hair. Your hair is extra vibrant and amazing tonight. So,
yeah.
In the chat.
Thank you.
Yeah. Looking awesome. Giraffe, right? You're up. What do you got on Amanda Plummer?
It's very hard to be a good villain because
Right.
I feel like a lot of villains are super cliche or super, I don't know, one note kind of. Because nobody wants to be the villain, so you never like put yourself into the villain, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel at the beginning we were saying that she was such a cliche villain, like in a good way, the literary villain. But I feel we're speaking about character arcs, with the knowledge that we have now, but the character, you see all these little notes, all these little nuance where you can see that she's insane, and it's very hard to play an insane person also.
Yeah.
With all you want to like her also, like I was hoping for a change of heart, I was like ready for her to I don't know, to have like one more development. So no, kudos. It's hard to inspire all this to viewers.
I think one of the best things that she has going for her is that she's a villain who doesn't actually. She's a hero in her mind.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I mean, she is doing terrible things, but it's only in response to the terrible things that were done to her. So, I mean, that's always what makes like a fantastic villain, is one who sees
don't know
themselves
why.
as being the hero.
We don't know why she's doing all this yet.
Also,
We don't.
We also
Well,
got to take
when
into
it comes to
why
Jack,
she's-
when it comes to Jack,
Yeah,
right,
maybe
right.
she is a hero. What do we know? Like
Right,
maybe she
that's
is
true.
like.
I mean, mostly in terms of like the whole story of the being experimented on, that this horrific stuff that she went through. That she's just retaliating in kind.
Yeah.
Also, we also have to remember she's someone who's also under pressure from like a higher authority or somebody, the villain that is way more powerful than her. I don't think that that villain is even like part of the. I don't know if they're even part of the changelings in that, but
I don't think that they are. I don't think that they are. No.
But we know that they do exact like a lot of control, even physical control from
Future Man.
much different. Yeah,
Still going with Future Man for sure.
from long distances and that. Like they almost vaporized her in that on her own bridge.
That was scary too,
right?
The way they did that.
Yeah.
Ensign Ro Aaron had a great comment about Vadic, and that's that her mannerisms with her head and her neck are just so good, and even not just her head and her neck, but like the way that she dances, like with her fingers and her movements, the way she smokes, like. Amanda Plummer is I don't want to say that Amanda Plummer, and I don't know if she's done method or not before, but like the way that she plays Vadic is bordering, you can kind of tell on some kind of method acting, and it is just so brilliant to watch her week in and week out, and especially, she gets to be kind of at her worst in this episode, and when you get to see a bad guy at their worst, I mean, yeah, you love to hate them, but she's just such a tremendous actor. It was so good. Yeah. And any other thoughts on Amanda Plummer before we move on to the next point? Good. Good.
I'm good.
Body moving. Yeah, Jack can do that now. Also, time is up. We're gonna get to that and who we lost in this episode. Jack, along with Signe, who's backing up his crazy story to his parents, tells Jean-Luc and Beverly about his newfound ability to speak telepathically and enter people's minds and control them. Jack attempts this once, but he gets an officer killed, which is kind of questionable, right? Like that officer did not consent, obviously, to having Jack like control his movements, and he was in. I don't know if he was in a safe space. Nothing really seems safe on the ship, but that officer does get killed because Jack moves him. And that's not good, in my opinion. I know he was trying to get the lay of the land, but I don't know. How do you guys feel about that?
Well, I think it's really difficult to because I think that this is the first time that Jack was trying to do it on purpose.
Right.
And so there's going to be like kind of a learning curve there. I think definitely with this, I know that there was some speculation that possibly Bev was responsible for all this. And I don't think so at this point.
Genetic manipulation?
Yeah. And I think she was quite surprised to hear all of this. But yeah, no, in terms of like the consent issue, I think that this is an extenuating circumstance, and they're trying to do anything that they can to get control of the ship again. And honestly, that officer was dead no matter what.
Yeah,
I would agree with that. How about you, Hawk?
Kind of the same opinion that the extenuating circumstance of the situation, plus that this, this is like Jack has recently discovered that he can do this kind of thing, right? So, part of him is like, wanting to come up with a solution, for what's happening in that, thinking I'll jump in and see, at least get the lay, as you said, the lay of the land and that. And as you can see, like that officer was dead already, was going to be dead within the next few moments already. It's not great that, we've we've come across this thing about like, invasion of the mind before in Star Trek, and it's without any consent, and we all agree it's pretty horrible in that. But given the situation, and his inexperience with his own ability, I kind of give it a pass this time.
Fair. Giraffe?
I mean, it's not TNG if you don't have some kind of mind violation every 2 episodes.
Uh,
I mean,
we're gonna be
No.
getting more into that
Not true.
later.
no, you're totally right.
okay.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. This whole episode is weird. I'm like, what are people doing?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's always this thing in real life you would not do that,
Right.
but
Yeah.
I feel in Star Trek you would do that. So
Yeah.
They have a Betazoid counselor who can read people's minds on the Enterprise D. Not read people's minds, but read people's emotions.
Yeah.
Should we
Yeah,
come
I
up with a
mean, like-
list of all of the people that Tuvok and Spock read over the
Right.
years?
Chris wrote Tuvok never needed mind melt consent.
I mean, like including walls and stones
Yeah.
and prison bars and whatever, like the list goes on. But that I think it just the real question I have is like, was that scene necessary in this way?
You mean to
Mm.
show that he could do it?
Because we knew he could do
Right.
it because he did it with Sydney. So I was just like, this whole episode like took a lot of choices to go towards just like violence and gore,
Mhm.
kind of.
Yeah.
And I think it was just participating to that feeling of dread and horror
Right.
and like downright violence that they just chose to go this episode.
I also have to wonder, how does it prove anything to his parents? Because I mean, they just saw him. Did they see him with the red eyes? Or did
No,
They
I'm
didn't-
he does
pretty
it.
sure they just saw him like convulse.
Yeah, he
basically.
told them after it happened. So it was,
Yeah.
He does it. Yeah, he does it before. So you
Yeah.
could just talk about like what happened with Sydney and
Yeah.
and and be like, I can try again, and then you're
Right.
like, oh, maybe it's not gonna succeed, and
Would have been a
then the
lot
scene
more
on the bridge
effective
is
to do
better.
it to one of his parents, though,
Yeah.
unless he can.
As far as the violence and gore and dread of this episode and that, I think it's just showing that everything, it had to get worse before it could even
I
begin
agree
to
with
get
that.
better.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Not sure. I agree with that.
No, I mean, hey, that's why we do the show. I don't know how I feel about it. I agree with Giraffe that the scene seems a little unnecessary. Because like we said, he does again. We're gonna talk about this. He later uses it on Lieutenant Mora to try and have him put the Picard's prefix code
Mhm.
on the bridge. So he does do it again. So we don't need, like you said, we don't need to see this scene, especially when Sydney corroborates his story. But
Mhm.
I don't know if I have a problem with it. I just don't. I'm kind of indifferent about it. I think that seems to be the general vibe. Yeah.
Of all of the consent issues in this episode, this
isn't
was the one that
right,
bothered
yeah,
me the
Right.
least.
Fair.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I want to fast forward all the way to the end of the episode where Deanna finally meets Jack and senses. Now, this is, I don't know if this is giving us any more hints at what, and by the way, I will preface this by saying, as of this live show, we have not gotten access to
haven't
9 or
seen
10. We have
anything.
no idea
Yep.
what happened. So this
We're
is
as in
real,
the dark as these people on
real-
the Titan were tonight.
Yeah.
Yep, real speculation. That she senses an ancient presence, like dormant, which is ancient presence means a lot of things in Star Trek. From with him, it's something dark. Thoughts on the evolution of this power, and now that we have this ancient presence line from Deanna, thoughts on what he may be, MC?
Oh, geez, I don't know. A Mary
I was like,
Sue.
wow.
Oh my god.
No, I mean, like, I still think that the Borg theory holds water. Especially with that line from Vadic that it's fitting that Seven be there. While Jack finds out what he is, it's like, oh, why is it fitting that Seven be there? Is it because Seven is also an XB? That like maybe like Jack is kind of a pre-assimilation Borg, like the original kind of Borg.
Oh, I like this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, that's kind of the best thing that I can do. Like, maybe that we're going to be getting into Borg origin story.
Yeah. I dig it. Hawk.
Still don't have any definite theory about what it is. I did like the thing about it being ancient but weak and that. But what it did remind me of is kind of like the plot in Insidious, right? Where basically Jack himself, he might be something that, as far as human evolution goes, we haven't seen yet in that, but something tapped into him and that, and recognizing that it could connect with him and that, Jack could sense it could sense Jack and that.
Yeah.
So I kind of, it gave me a little bit of an Insidious vibe in that,
Okay.
where it's like, these mediums or, these astral walkers and that were susceptible in that. They're only like when they were leaving their bodies, they kind of left their body open to invasion.
Mhm.
I get a similar feeling about that. As far as like who it could be, I have no idea. Right now I'm thinking it might be something we've never encountered before in Star Trek.
Okay.
Hmm.
That'd be an interesting
Wesley
move.
Crusher.
It's Wesley Crusher. That'd be an interesting move for a final season with the TNG crew to introduce something new. But I mean,
Yeah.
they've done it the past 2 seasons. So
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Draft.
I do have to say,
No, go ahead, MC. Yeah.
Since it's been brought up in the chat, no to the Paul Wraiths, because like they've already mined a lot from DS9, and they don't have any DS9 characters. No, Worf does not count
Yet.
Yet.
But the thing is, at this point, we're at episode 8, so you can't bring in DS9 characters for the last 2 episodes and be like, well, we're gonna do more DS9
I mean, you
stuff.
You can.
Well, you could, but
it's
I'll
like you've
flip
never
a
watched
table.
Picard. Like you've never watched Picard? Like let's introduce a full planet of synthetics, like 2 episodes before the end. And
I
giant
mean,
space flowers.
that's
Why
fair,
not?
but like watch me lose my faith in the season real quick.
Yeah. Fair.
I mean, we've been there. We've been here. We've been over there also. I don't know. Okay, so it's gonna be or something absolutely stupid or something super obscure. I don't think it's gonna be a new thing. I don't think there's gonna be a new thing. Like they're not gonna do a new thing. The problem with the Borg, and I mean, it'd be cool if they were the Borg and the origin of the Borgs and whatever. I think it's a good idea. But like previous season, we're like the evolution of the Borg, the next Borg, and now we're like, you know what? Like old Borg, let's go. She's a lion. The other thing is that none of the design and the aesthetics of this matches the Borg.
Well, I mean,
that's
that's
really
why I think it might be like an ancient Borg, like before they got, because that green is so electronic.
It's an old door, it looks like something from his memory. It's gonna be something dumb like Spycraft season 2, where it's like something he remembers from his past. I think it's Wesley Crusher trying to talk to his brother because he's stuck somewhere, and he's like he's trying like to reach out from a memory that they have in common, but he doesn't know is his brother, and Beverly doesn't know, something dumb like this. Or it's a power F, and I'm sorry, but that would really match what everybody is saying.
Yeah.
Even if it's not a good solution, at least it makes sense.
And I
will be so mad.
And at this point, you know what I want? I want something that makes sense, because I'm done with like this end of Picard series where there's like absolutely no logic of anything to close the story in 2 episodes. At least if it's the power F, you know what? They can close the season in a way that makes sense. And that would explain why the tablet is in Picard's office since the freaking beginning of this series.
Yeah.
There is one way I will accept it being the Paul Wraiths, and that is if Avery fucking Brooks appears in episode 9 and 10.
Would it be? But no, but how
not.
amazing would it be if, plot twist, it is the Paul Wraiths and Cisco's actually the fucking bad guy of 9 and 10? Right? He's
no,
do that.
You would. That would hurt so many people.
I quit.
What are we doing? We're talking about what we like the crazy stories we want to see.
Oh hell
and
yeah! Why not? Why not?
Episode, or like we were like what they're actually gonna do. Because they're not gonna do that.
You never. Everybody's like no in the chat. But Tara did say, the ancient presence does evoke Paul Wraiths for me, but I still don't see how they could be doing that without Avery, and I'm pretty sure he's not showing up. I mean,
yeah,
I didn't expect Tim Russ to show up, and I don't know. I at this point, with what they've done this season,
Or-
I could say anything could happen, and I still have very high hopes. I think they're gonna stick the landing. That's just me.
Yeah.
It's control.
Oh,
Maybe it's
come on.
control.
Okay.
Oh my
okay.
God, no.
So MC would quit over evil Avery Brooks. I would quit if it was control. I'd be like,
I
I'm
would
done.
quit if it was control as
I'm
well.
done. I'm out the door. No, I if you had said Pa Race to me, which everybody did weeks ago, I have, and I would say, that's not happening. But now I'm not sure, because I've been on the Borg train since we met Jack. And now I'm just like, the red eyes match what Jake's eyes look like in the episode of DS9 where they're fighting. I don't know. I just don't know.
It's an ancient present.
It's an ancient presence.
And
yes.
where's it you saying in the chat that Vadic keeps touching her ear like a badger earring?
That's what made me really think Pa Race today, because you don't see it, but she touches her ear. And she also reaches to Jack, and it's hard to tell whether she touches his shoulder or touches his ear. And I was like, that was a moment. So
and she does it very clearly before he like actions like the thing that he has. Like she does it like very, very clearly.
Yes.
Once you said it, I did not see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if we're gonna do this, then I'm sorry. I need Cisco. I need Martok. I need Esri. I need Kira.
Let me ask you, if even if we didn't get Cisco, would you be okay if Kira was involved somehow?
I mean, I think like for not having Cisco, then we need to have basically every single other cast member from Deep Space Nine.
Fair. Kai wins back, baby.
Peanut Hamper. It's Peanut Hamper.
If it's Peanut Hamper, I might be okay with it.
Yeah.
And as an ancient evil, yeah.
Yeah.
Arisa Spagian, we were talking about species 8472 last week.
They are telepathic.
And that's true.
And they're ancient, and they're
and
probably
powerful.
still and they have been name dropping Janeway a lot. Oh
boy.
I mean, then Tuvok was here. I mean, and they are like they can change appearances too. So
yeah.
We talked about it last
goosebumps,
week.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
We've got a lot of different theories, man. And absolutely
like
none of them are bunnies. Bunnies have red eyes.
Evil Wesley.
Bunnies do have red eyes.
Evil Wesley Crusher it's Wesley Crusher from the Mirrorverse.
Giraffe, I'm about to put you on timeout for 10 seconds with this Wesley Crusher thing. I like Mirror Wesley though. Let's I can't wait for next week when we're all wrong. I can't wait.
We're all
It's
wrong.
gonna be amazing.
We've had so many theories
Yeah.
that we're going to be wrong about something.
Yeah. Chris goes, I can't wait
like
for
an
bad
obscure-
goatee Wesley.
Yeah.
Obscure alien from like season 1 TNG that
Yeah.
they vaguely referenced once, and they made a whole season out of
It's
it.
the Jelliac. It's Shellyak. Yep.
Yeah.
The Shellyak Protectorate. Let's follow up on Vadic, right? And this whole situation, because she catches Jack controlling Mura, somehow knowing of Jack's abilities. Jack is very shocked that she knows. That's obviously a whole other talking point. But let's talk about Vadic's hostage execution, how it went down, and the loss of Lieutenant Tavine, Chris's Bay. I'm sorry, Chris. Because I know from talking to somebody, specifically Giraffe, there's ways someone being killed could have been maybe handled differently in this episode, as far as like characters and like how their arcs could have gone. I'm going to switch the order a little bit because I want to get Giraffe's take on this, because I've talked about it most recently with you. Your thoughts on this whole situation?
Well, it's too bad that Eric is not here either.
I know.
He had thoughts about this. I do think that bridge scene is very well brought by all that's happening on board of Titan. Is very not Star Trek in my opinion. Like, I mean, I could see that maybe in DS9, and even DS9 never really did something like this. I mean, people complaining about Star Trek being bleak and, no hope, and like a scene of like backhead execution. I was like, fuck, that's
yeah.
Do you know what reminded me of? It reminded me of The Walking Dead.
Yes.
It's not on brand. It's so
people
not
called
on
it
brand.
very, very Negan of Vadic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really thought this scene was important for the tension, but the way in the tension was relieved was very I don't know, like it didn't work. It didn't work for Star Trek. It would work in The Walking Dead. It would work like in, I don't know, The Last of Us. It would work like in something bleak and terrible that where I cry every episode because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna die, you know. But Star Trek is not that brand usually, and I was really surprised. And then I think they did make choices that were very wrong. Like if they had tweaked it in another way, like, you know, I work I work for TV. I don't know. Like, I have opinions. If they had tweaked it a little bit, I feel it would have become maybe a scene where the tension would have been more on brand for Star Trek and relieved in a way that would make more sense. My main problem, and I think we're all gonna agree, and Eric brought that up also, it's like the two members of the crew that are Asian are the two ones that are put on the knees. And I had already that problem with the episode where Seven shoots the changeling and twice it's a black person. And I'm like, okay. And then we had this discussion and I was like, that shocked me that twice a black person is shot in the head by Seven. And I'm like, I know it's not like, oh, Seven is racist. That's not what I'm saying. But just the choices were like kind of weird. And then, you know, I was like, okay, like, you know, I like this. I like the story. I think, you know, let's pass through this. But I was personally shocked. Like, I remember being like, okay. And then again on the bridge, and Eric brought that up, it's the two Asian actors were like put on their knees and like almost executed. And again, it was just like, oh, it was twice.
Right.
I was like, do they have a coordinator for like
a sensitivity?
Yeah, they need one
coordinator.
They need one.
They need one.
They need one.
I know that,
especially because there were like basic white dudes like in that lineup that like
but
you know what, like if she had no I agree with you. I think if she'd even like put a phaser to one of them first and then the others, it's like you're picking from all of them, then it maybe makes it a little bit better, but then maybe not even then. Like I just don't know.
And the other thing too is that, okay, I know they do this because we care about them. We don't know them so much, but we care about them. But let's be honest that it's the most dialogue they had the whole season when they're almost going to get shot in the back of the head. And I'm like, okay. And then she shoots Tvin because let's be honest, they were like, maybe let's not shoot like 2% quota of non-white actors on the bridge. Yeah. And they shoot Tvin, and it comes out of nowhere. And I know it was supposed to be more shocking, but it doesn't work because Tvin didn't speak. Like if she had been the one being, because I'm Starfleet, or even being, this is illogical, or like just a sentence, you know, that would have worked.
And it would have worked even better because you know what the scene reminds me of. I know you said this scene is a little, it works, but it's a little bit out of place in Star Trek. It does remind me of the execution scene in Search for Spock, and you know a Vulcan has a knife to their back, and you know if Tvin had like some kind of line like mirroring Savick, that would have been like a really cool throwback before she died. A little bit of a missed opportunity there.
And the last thing, and I think I don't know. I mean, I'm sure like is that what the fuck, Shaw? Like, I need Star Trek to give me a little bit hope, even if it's bleak. Imagine the same scene on Discovery, and we kind of had almost the same scene in Discovery when the Orions take Discovery. With Osira, we all like almost like Shaw is just like, don't do it, don't say anything. Your crew is getting fucking murdered, man. Like literally, you're hearing them scream and beg for mercy, and it doesn't. It would have had like one, I don't know, like something. I need Star Trek to give me a little bit hope of like Seven being like, take me instead. Like I was like, oh, Seven. Like for sure we would have done the same thing. Would have been like frozen or like waited. There is nothing to do. He is right. But on the other hand, we need a hero. We need somebody that speaks up. We need somebody that stands up, and Picard is not. Jack and Seven are the only one like giving me a little bit like of, oh, you're so great.
Yeah. Giraffe, you went into the next part of the question too, which is good because we should combine them anyway. So just for Hawk and MC, if you want to talk about Tvin and that whole situation as well as thoughts on if maybe Shaw should have gotten involved. Go ahead, because we'll just go to the next part after that. Go
Okay.
ahead, MC.
Well, fuck you guys very much for killing off Devine. And also, I mean, like, basically, I'm co-signing every single thing that Giraffe said because she's very smart, and I agree with her entirely. So I won't. So I won't repeat that stuff. But also, just looking at it from just a character perspective on Vadic, I mean, she's talking about control, but the thing is, it's like what she did wasn't control; it was chaos.
Yeah, that's what Tara's saying too. Yeah, it's pure chaos.
Unfortunately, I've lost the chat. So.
No, that's okay. No.
Yeah.
It's a point because Vadic is nuts. It's chaos. There's no rhyme or reason, and that's why it's so scary. Yeah.
And so she's acting like she's in control, but no, she's just going on her whims, and I don't really like that. And with Shaw, I did have some problems with Shaw in this episode. I want somebody to step up, but at the same time, I don't really agree with what Seven is doing because, I think she's trying to do something, but she doesn't know what the fuck to do. Because certainly nothing she does actually really helps.
Yeah.
And
do you think they are trained to like if that happens, like what they should do? Like, it's Starfleet. They should. I know there's no OSHA, but maybe there's some training manual.
I mean, okay, do you think I'm wrong, though, when I say, do you think that they are trained to do nothing and not try to intervene? I feel like that's, like, standard, right, is to say nothing, do nothing. In the hopes
Shaw
that, like, the
sticking
situation...
to the rules.
Yeah, he's a stick...
Sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what's going on. We know that Shaw is this, like... Kirk somehow quoting... doing things by the book, who never went by the book. But Shaw is a guy who goes by the Starfleet manual.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, like, Shaw's going to go down with his ship if it goes down. But the thing is, I don't think he's going to go down before that. And it's his ship. He's got to stay alive to captain it. So, what would happen if they shoot Shaw and Seven, and then all of a sudden there's all of these lieutenants.
Now it's chaos.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, Hawk, but you take a bridge. Okay. I shoot the captain.
I completely agree. I'm literally shooting the captain first. Yeah.
I'm the captain now. Like, and you shoot the captain. That's what you do.
But that's not what Vadic was doing. And with Seven, I mean, like, it gets later on when she like locks herself in on the bridge with Jack. I mean, I don't really know how much she did other than having that really fucking good line.
Yeah.
So, okay, Hawking.
Okay, so I don't know where to go from this. The loss of Devine was terrible. Yeah, and like I said, there is no rhyme or reason. Well, actually, there is a bit in that because like doing that in those kinds of situations, and that this goes back to like war and like World War II and that. But basically, like when selecting a person at random in that, it puts it on the other survivors in that, right?
Right.
It's like it's your fault that this random person is dead because you didn't give me what I want in that. And that's the whole point of it. It's terror in that, it's like, Captain Shaw should have been the obvious choice in that, take out the captain first in that. But then again, everybody expected the captain to go down with the ship and that. When it's random and when it's someone who's, just like quiet and, that it's more shocking and you feel it a lot more, And again, it seems it's much more this kind of a scene is something that's much more characteristic out of The Walking Dead and that. But again, that's like, this is not your parents' Star Trek, and I think this scene was there basically to add to that, to the jeopardy that they were trying to establish.
Yeah.
Were you sad by Devine? Like, I was pissed because I was like, I don't know that character at all, but the tension was like on, I don't remember her name.
No.
Because she was crying and sobbing, and you're like, oh my God.
But I think that's why it's more shocking, because like you're really expecting her to go, and then all of a sudden it comes out of nowhere, and even Devine's face is completely blank, which I think is what did it for me, right?
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is like between because she's super young, she's a kid begging, and somebody was stoic and standing straight. I would be more repulsed by the the death of the kid. And if
Mhm.
that
Right.
was they're doing, then and that's my problem with the episode. Like, they go for bleak and horrible. You hear people getting massacred, a crew, and you hear them and you see them like clawing to the door and all this. It's absolutely horrendous. But then at the moment where tension is the highest, where they can like give you the punch, they go for the solution that is the less shocking. And I mean, I don't want her to be shot in there. Like, I mean, I don't want
I get what you're saying. I don't know if I necessarily agree, but I get what you're saying. It makes sense. I mean, I personally was shocked. I didn't see it coming. It was more of a shock than either of them getting killed.
That's the thing. Like, she was out, like out of the anonymous characters of the bridge, and that she was, kind of stand out, in the episodes that we've seen, in that, we, talking about like the space babies and that, and the anomaly and that and everything. So she kind of stood out to us more, if not a lot, then a lot more than the randomness of the other crew and that, and that's what made her death so shocking.
Yeah, she's what TV tropes would call a mauve shirt.
Okay. I've never heard of that. That's cool. Yeah.
It's a red shirt, a little bit.
I don't need to say anything else about what Giraffe said, because like MC said, she's right. They really need a sensitivity officer on every single one of these shows, period, end of story. This scene worked for me. I agree with, and the bleakness of it, I think it does work for me. I mean, listen, I remember in episode 3 of Discovery, I mean, we saw like grossly mangled bodies and that freaking tardigrade like wrecking people. I've seen bleak on New Trek. I don't know. I think it works, and I do agree with Hawk about things need to be shown to be worse before we get the big hero moments that we see later in the episode. It worked for me. I really liked Tavine. I know we didn't get to know her. I wish we'd get to know her, which is why this does hurt. She was my favorite of the new bridge crew. Like I think it is confirmed by Terry that she was half Deltan, half Vulcan. Like, that's really cool, and I wanted to get to know her. So when I'm thinking that the other ensign's gonna die, and all of a sudden, boom, it's like, oh, that sucks. Like, it's awful, and I was shocked. I think it did work for me. I think the chaos of Vadic and solidifying that she's completely out of her head was a good moment for the episode. As far as Shaw, I will agree with Draft. I think that it would have been a good character moment for him if he was to somehow sacrifice himself. That being said, it's also very within his character to not do anything. I think you and I talked about it a bit, Giraffe. He has that he has that PTSD from from being at Wolf 359. So in this moment, even when he's whispering to Seven about like, you get to think things are all hunky dory.
You should have blown up the
you should
lived.
He's sounding like he's in charge, but he's not in charge of his emotions there.
No.
He's very compromised at this moment. So I don't think he could
But what
do
we
anything.
were saying
Yeah.
But what we were saying is that it would have been a perfect moment for it to go full circle, because he's alive from Wolf 359, because his commanding officer, like the lieutenant that was like the highest rank left with all the ensign, gave her place to them in the shuttle. And then I was like, oh, that's the moment of not redemption, but redemption for himself, to be somebody gave their life for me, so I'm gonna do the same thing, and he doesn't do it. And I'm like, he has plot armor, to be honest, too. Like that would,
I think either situation works. I think had he sacrificed himself, it would have worked for the scene. He doesn't. It still works for this character that we've gotten to know over these past 8 episodes. Lot on this. Anybody have anything else on this before we move on? Good. Loved that bit. Deanna and Will.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I thought we were going to talk a moment about the, him referring to Seven as Hansen again.
Oh, yes. I mean, did I miss that? No, I am. No. Hold on. No, yeah, go hit it.
There's the one thing I would need to point out, just as devil's advocate, the dead naming is wrong, obviously, in that, I think again mentioning his PTSD and that, about, I think the reason he always goes back to Hansen instead of Seven, and that has to do with him being, lucky number 10. And I think this was just him on default in that, considering like the situation revolved around, again, people being randomly selected to die. This is his PTSD kicking in. If I could, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
You know what?
I do like 7 though. Yeah,
I like 7. Yeah.
If they first of all, I have a like, okay, they do it in a manner to address the den naming, and it's not the moment. Like, it has been going around since episode 1.
Mhm.
Do it right. Do it not at that moment. Do it, have a real conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because again, for a lot of people, that's very important, and that's very shocking when he then names her. And the thing that, again, Star Trek, I don't like what I'm saying, but I mean, like, at one point it's here like to inspire me too to do better. And when somebody does wrong, usually even like in TNG and so on, there was always like this conversation. Again, we were watching, like, I was watching First of Duty not long ago, and there's like this important conversation that for you as an audience are like, hey, I learned something from this. I grew from that. And I feel that the dead naming being addressed at that moment when people are getting shot in the head on the bridge, this is not the moment. Do it right. Star Trek needs to address these things in a way that is important for the audience, because the audience watching Star Trek is interested in these social questions.
Yeah, and a lot of people in the chat are, kind of defending it and saying that, he was stressed and he was having this, like, it just, it's what comes to him first.
For the character.
But it makes sense for the character. But no, I know. And I was about to say, Star Trek fans are smart, and they're smarter than that. And like you're saying, they need to be aware of the people that are watching the show, because it does have an effect. Even if it's not their intent, it still affects people. Period. End of story.
So I think like him calling her Hanson again would have been fine had they not had the scene of 7 going, my name is 7 of 9, and then having him call her Hanson again. I think what they needed to do is wait until the next episode after this whole Vadic thing, and then had the moment.
Yeah.
Because they kind of cut the legs out of my name is 7 of 9.
Yeah. Well, and even after she says that to him, he calls her Hanson one more time.
Yeah.
So hopefully in episode 9 or 10, there's finally a moment where he's like, I see you, 7, or something. Hopefully it's not like her sacrificing herself for him or some bullshit like that.
There will be a riot.
If they kill 7.
I quit.
I think
all of Star Trek would quit.
I'm going to make a prediction. It's, he's going to be handing the chair over to her, and he's going to call her
Captain 7. I would fucking love that. I would love that. Let's talk about Deanna and Will. Obviously, she did not end up being a changeling. But this did also give us. I know, yeah, that would have been a good story. That being said, it did give us this kind of beautiful heart to heart between Will and Deanna that I really liked. They each shared their pain about the loss of Thad, which I was hoping we'd get more of in season 1, but we get to have it in this prison cell. Their mutual dislike of Nepenthe, which I thought was a great comedic scene, and Worf's eventual rescue, which was just a complete and utter hilarious moment on its own. Thoughts on this, MC?
Okay, so I have a lot of feelings about this scene. And the first one that I want to talk about is the fact that we are having Deanna Troi, of all people, making jokes about sexual assault. What? Because she's making a joke about, the changeling being good in bed.
Good in bed and bad at pizza.
Yeah, like that is not funny. That is not a joke that we should be making. And you're having Deanna, somebody who has been sexually assaulted multiple times through TNG. And this is another situation of why the fuck don't we have a sensitivity coordinator who can catch this kind of stuff? Because it shouldn't be viewers who are just like, why are you doing this? And I know there have been some, and more consent issues. Some people have brought up the whole Deanna taking away Will's pain about that. That issue of consent, I actually understand to an extent, which I know sounds weird considering how I just absolutely blew up about making jokes about assault, but it is two completely different situations. I don't think that it was trying to explain it. I think Deanna was trying to use her natural gifts to share a burden with her husband. The only problem is they weren't properly communicating with one another. And I think that's what happened here. They needed to share a burden through a dialogue with one another rather than her just being like, I'm a Betazoid and I can do this. So I did like them speaking to each other, and I really did like the stuff about how much they hated Nepenthe, because Nepenthe did not make any sense for them. Like, like, I'm sorry, Riker needs to be on a planet with like, you know,
jazz bar.
A jazz bar.
I was gonna say at least 5 jazz bars, within walking distance of his house, and I like the idea of Raktajino lattes. I want to know exactly
so bad.
I know, right? That sounds really good.
You know, I keep seeing that on Instagram and TikTok. It's like that new coffee that you can get at Disneyland at the Star Wars cantina. Apparently, it's coffee with cream and like some kind of cereal on the top. And everybody's raving about it. And when she said that, that's what I saw. I was like, that's the Raktajino latte. That is.
I actually feel like Klingons would be like super offended by Raktajino lattes.
100%. Except for the
It's just
Klingon
like
that
milk.
owns the Raktajino bar in San Francisco, who is making bank off of it.
Yeah. And Worf's rescue was so good, because like when he's starting to get into that whole thing with Deanna, it does play on that whole fact that they were involved with each other at the end of season 7, and they just kind of just fucking ignored it for the rest of the series. But then it's also like they always had this really great connection with one another, and it's more like the Worf's in touch with his feelings now, so it's not even like a romantic thing. It's just like,
it was still
I have
so
learned.
good. Yeah. Oh,
it was very sweet, and I liked it.
Yeah.
And they should respect Worf's personal space.
Yeah. Agreed. Hog.
Oh man, what do I add to that? I don't know. The joke, yeah, I know. It's a little touchy considering like, you know, Deanna and everything she's been through in the TNG series. Although I think it was more like a dig at Will in that, you know.
I
like,
thought it was more of a dig at Will too. I don't know.
Like she,
It was just inappropriate.
All right, you know, but then again, like the situation they're in, they don't know if, you know, they're gonna die or not. It's just she just wanted to make him laugh, I think, at that point.
I think Ensign and sorry, Hawk, I think Ensign Ro Aaron put it really well. The joke was tacky, but it's also dark humor that people make in those situations. It's funny, it is, but it's also yikes.
And it's the kind of shit that you say to your husband.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like, as a married couple, and when you're like together for a long time, you make jokes that are not like appropriate at all. Though, should it be in a Star Trek episode? Maybe not. But as a married woman, I was not shocked by her.
No, not at all. Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's the kind of dumbass stuff that I would, and I say worse. I say way worse as joke, and we both laugh. And that's the thing about knowing each other so well, too, is that you can make this kind of like outlandish joke with a straight face, and you know the other one is going to laugh. I don't think it should be in the episode. I think that's touchy, but that made me laugh personally.
Yeah.
That's always something I would say. Like 1,000%.
Sorry, Hawk. I did the typical interrupt.
That's okay. No, it's like I said, I don't have a lot to add to it. I think we've already brought it up in that, like, you know, I did love like the conversation that they were finally talking to, you know, because we, you know, at the beginning of the season, we didn't know exactly where the tension was coming from, and that, you know, obviously it had to do with Sad and like a lot of that, you know, and I thought, you know, in season 1, it was kind of like, you know, with Nepenthe, it was like they kind of put it behind them, but apparently they hadn't, you know. And it was nice that they got to talk, you know, like that they're the kind of couple that would have done anything to make each other feel better, and that, you know, like Deanna would have done anything to take it off of Will, and that even like, you know, using her powers without him even knowing, and that. But like she said, as a counselor, I should have remembered the first rule in that. But you can't skip to the healing.
And what I love so much about this scene is he's an open guy, but we've never seen him as vulnerable as he is in this
Mhm.
moment, and that's really beautiful. He completely opens up about Thad, and it's a side of him that we've never seen before. I mean, I've been saying this since episode 1. Jonathan Frakes is the MVP of this season.
He's doing very
Tenfold.
well.
Sorry, and Amanda Plummer. I mean, both of them, honestly. I really love this scene, but I was really there more for the comedic bits. Did I skip you? It happened. No,
It's okay. I can
No,
go
no, no,
after
I
you.
didn't-
It's fine.
Oh yeah, no, I did.
Finish your idea. Finish your idea. I'll go last. It's fine.
It has to happen once a show, Giraffe. Sorry. I love the stuff with Worf, right? Because like MC said, it is a joke all about season 7, and Will just looking and be like, inappropriate. It was just so good. I also just want to say that Worf is very phaser happy this season, and I love that. That's it. I'm
here
it.
for this.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And also to back you up, does it belong in the episode? The joke debatable. We say fucked up shit to each other
Absolutely.
all the time. Yeah.
At one point, when you leave with somebody and you marry the third
Yep.
person,
Yep.
believe me, it's
Yeah.
that is low. That's very low key compared to the
Yeah.
joke I would say in front of death to my husband.
Yeah, no, I can understand saying, and I mean, like, there are some dark jokes I will make to friends because obviously I'm somebody who is not married, so it's mostly just jokes to people like Giraffe. But the fact that it is a character who we have this massive history with of being assaulted in Star Trek, and the fact that it is on a show as opposed to actually being between two married people.
Absolutely. Yep.
For me, it made me kind of like laugh because not because of the joke, but it's because I really saw them as a couple.
Yes.
And for me, it was really a moment that was so relatable, as a couple that's been together for a long time, and you're in this shitty situation, and you're gonna do some like stupid jokes, and you're gonna like dig at each other, and I totally want to be called a baby of immense size.
You're right.
I was gonna say, like, that's the best joke out of this
so
whole
good.
exchange.
And that's literally what I texted MC this morning at 7 a.m. I was like, I want to be called a baby of immense size. And I feel their relationship is so cute and so beautiful and so relatable because we always see these so happy in love couple, or then they're like hate each other, or it's super stormy. And being in a long-term relationship is not like this. It's that kind of shit. It's literally this. Is you suffer and you're sick and you go through difficult stuff and you don't take the right decision and you try to help the other and it doesn't work, and then they blame you and then you blame them and then you end up in jail and then you do weird jokes. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Oh yeah, you always end up in jail in a relationship.
I really like that they were an older couple, and that has this relationship that is so true and so real. Because I do think that in TV, you always see couples, they give you a wrong vision of what it is to be together for a long time. It's not passion all the time. It's not, sometimes it's cleaning shit. And isn't it? Julian, yes.
Want to talk about my fucking morning?
I do want to know, did the changelings just fucking leave Kestra?
I think
I don't know.
my Kestra headcanon is that that house had like shields and fucking photon torpedoes. She was in a safe room.
I was just thinking maybe she just ran into the fucking woods.
I think someone in the chat also said that Riker, before he left, may have warned about something going on, and Deanna sent her off to Loxwana. Which would be
that's possible.
Really
also,
smart.
she's older in this timeline now, and that so
maybe she's in Starfleet Academy.
Maybe she's at Starfleet Academy.
Yeah.
I thought they mentioned that Kestra in this. So.
They say her name, but they didn't. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay.
Now I don't remember what I was saying, but thank you all, guys.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was saying it's good representation. Go. I like having these love stories that are like real, just real. Worf is always making me laugh, and we're watching TNG where Luxana keeps calling him Mr. Wolf. And I want somebody to do a dumb joke like this. I have to say that Deanna living her best life, just hugging everybody, made
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
day. Like she's like, Dada!
Um,
Jordy!
According to Bob
Hooray!"
D in the chat and Terry Matalis, Kestra is at Starfleet Academy. So there you go.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
I also have to
That
tell
would
you
be
guys,
nice
I
if
want
that was in the episode.
it would be nice if someone mentioned that. Everybody needs to go back and watch the episode and watch right after Frakes delivers the. Is this a rescue mission or the continuation of the torture? Because the look on Marina Sirtis is about to break, and they cut at the perfect moment. You see her face, and she's about to pop, and it's brilliant. I just had to get that out. Let's talk about the battle of data lore. Picard, Bev, Jack, and Sydney all realize they need to take back the ship, but need someone who can hack into the ship faster than Vadic and her changelings can counter it. And of course, that person is Data. Picard goes to Geordi, and they risk letting Data and Lore's consciousness duke it out basically over who's going to control the Golem body. Lore at one point seems to take full control over the body, taking Data's memories as trophies, memories of Tasha, Spot, Sherlock Holmes. But Data actually uses the memories as a weapon, knowing that Lore would value them as these trophies, and basically makes Lore become Data. What did we think about Data's return, MC?
Okay, so when I watched this episode for the first time, I actually kind of had a problem with this scene because it's like, oh, well, they just did this like battle of the mind in Lower Decks, and I kind of liked it better when they did it there. But then when I was watching it the second time, I was just like, fuck it, I don't care. Like, I am in, like, all of the, like, even the first time I watched it, when they showed Tasha, I was just starting to, like, ball up. And just everything about this. I was actually talking to my friend Chris about this. He needed to spill all of his data feels to me today. And everything he said to me, like, kind of encapsulates why it's really good. And he was telling me that he hated the emotion chip stuff in the movies, but that this really feels like it's redeeming that, because this feels like a more dramatic version of it, because the way Data is actually fighting Lore, it's because of Geordi's speech to him, and he's using all of these feelings for his friends, and the emotion, like the showing Spot there, it's like that is a direct reference to Generations, when that's like the first, like, really honest, like, emotional thing that Data had when he found Spot. Will freaking call them on the fact that apparently Spot's a dude again.
Wait, what?
Like, sorry?
They could never decide whether Spot was a boy or a girl.
Right. So maybe they did that as an Easter egg. That's really funny.
Yeah. But no, I mean, all of the moments, and like having that line from about how Holmes didn't collect anything without meaning, and then having all of these things that had meaning to Data was just so good. And really, like, bringing Data and Lore full circle, because in the first time we see Lore, he tries to take over Data's life because he wants to be Data, and now he is Data. So it was really good, and it did get me all teary. So yeah, happy.
Yeah, probably I can see how people will be a little dismissive of it first time around watching it, but yeah, think like, oh, it's just plot device or that. But no, it was really about the two brothers, and that, one who was, all naivety and logic and that, and one who was just all raw emotion and dominance and that. And yeah, it was probably what it was their best battle in that, him, Data voluntarily giving him like all his memories, and that Lore just taking them because he thought, that they were trophies, and that, but with those trophies come all the attached memories of it, and that. And I began to think about Data and that, and how it was always saying, like, it's like, I have no emotion, I have no feelings and that, but I think he was just basically built differently in that, what if he didn't have these like outlandish human emotions to things, and that the way he processed this, like, all these things and that, it was a unique form of emotion for him, and that. So Lore gets all of these the information that he stores with these things, and that, it's like the time with his friends, and that the time like with Tasha, the pipe, and that, it's like, it's like Lore's never had a best friend like Data had, so like he gives him that pipe. He also gives him the emotions that went along with that, having a best friend to play a fucking game with, and it was an amazing way for Data to basically beat Lore, and to really not even beat him in that. It was to integrate him. It was like, because the last scene is them hugging. That, it's like
it's a really beautiful moment.
Yeah.
It really is. It's like it was almost like Lore is like at some point let go of all that hate and emotion and that, and just let himself be a brother to Data. No, they are one.
Yeah.
I loved it. It's a scene that definitely rewards a second, third, or fourth viewing.
Yeah. Giraffe.
About the friend we made along the way. Oh,
yes.
It made me think of like the finale of Lost a little bit, and the idea that the whole thing, the important point is not that why or how or the solution, but that we did that thing together and we met, and it's I don't know how you say that in English, but in French it's called a denial of narration. Is that basically the story is unimportant? It's the character arcs and the character
journey.
relationship that like the characters that finally how they grew were important. I liked it. I think that it must be a super confusing scene for somebody that has not watched TNG.
Yeah.
Like if you haven't
watched TNG at this point, like
I would also say I don't know that there's a lot of
people have not watched TNG.
Do you think a lot of people who didn't watch TNG are watching this season of Picard though?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually,
okay,
yes.
Fair.
And
okay.
more and more people are watching Star Trek in like the new Star Trek because Paramount is pushing them, like pushing Star Trek everywhere. And people who haven't watched Strange New Worlds without having watched TOS can follow the story quite well. But like, I was like, at this point, I was like, that must be such a confusing scene. Like they don't explain half of it, like Tasha Yar and the hat. I was like, oh. But imagine not knowing anything and being, I guess it's important.
Yeah.
Imagine not knowing and then getting to go back and watch these episodes.
There is that,
It's a great like gateway drug into TNG.
But I think it was a beauty. Like we knew that like Data was not dying. Like I love Geordie's reaction, like when he was, damn, like it was so well done. Like, can we just praise a little bit, like LeVar Burton for how amazing he is, even if he says like 2 words.
You can say what else is on your mind too.
It's hot. It's so hot.
He is hot,
man.
He's really hot.
Has no business being that gorgeous. Like, come on, what is this?
Gray suits that man beautifully.
But how weird is it? Like even with those contacts in his eyes and that, you could still see all the hurt in his eyes watching Data fade away slowly.
That scene.
Damn, like when the whole thing turns red was so painful and so beautiful. They had me at the cat, to be honest, when like the cat, the cat.
The way he touches Spot is like the same way that he touches Spot in like so many other episodes too, like around the ears and the way he coos at him.
Which is hilarious is that when I was at I don't know what convention and Brent Spiner was here doing his Brent Spiner thing, so and at one point somebody asked him who is the worst actor. No, I don't even think it was a question, just him like being like, you want to know who's the worst actor I've ever worked with? And everybody was like, yes. And I was like, it's the cat. So the thing that is I really liked though is that it's so simple and it's so efficient, though I knew what Data was doing at the moment where he was like, I gave you the thing. And I was like, you mother. The only thing I changed, MC, let me finish.
Okay,
I see you trying to interject 5th time. And I tried to finish my story because after I forget what I'm doing.
Finish. Okay.
Guys, I'm tired. See, now I don't remember what I was going to say. Damn. Oh, I know. The only thing that would have been better, I think, I'm going to change one word, So Lore becomes Data. I think it's beautiful. It's great. It's like perfect. But at the end, he says, goodbye, brother. And I think we could have said, thank you, brother. Because
Yeah.
that would have been so perfect.
Yeah.
That would be on point. He learns something. He becomes Data. He becomes, I don't know, more. Because Lore is a dick. Let's be honest. That's why he has no friends also.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I agree. I agree with you on that. Thank you, brother. Would have been really good. But also, no fucking LOL reference. LOL is in their head and would be the perfect memory to bring up, and we don't.
There's no love for women in Picard. Haven't you noticed?
Yeah, I've noticed that. And I'm actually, at this point, I'm really mad that they brought LOL up. Like, I would have rather they had not mentioned LOL at all.
Fair. I just don't know how much you could do. I mean, LOL, I don't know.
They could have had just an audio clip.
I guess. Yeah.
That I'll feel it for the both of us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So I texted this draft, and it rings very true. If you had told me that they were going to bring Data back at the end of the season, and I was going to be bawling and happy about it, I would have told you to fuck off. Because I did not want it. I was not about it. I was very satisfied. One of the only things I was satisfied with the Picard season 1 finale is that beautiful moment with Data and Jean-Luc. That being said, this whole thing, as soon as Data starts coming back, is when I started like uncontrollably crying from this moment until the end of the episode. Is just, it lost me, and it was beautiful. And him and Geordi is just, oh my God, one of the most beautiful moments ever. And just when he comes back and like, Jean-Luc, it's good to see you, Commander. And it's just, and there are bits of, like, you could hear bits of Lore when he comes back, right? Like, this is your pissed off, this is your pissed off security system. And it's cool that it's Data, but there's definitely some lore in there now. And I really love that. But it was especially, and we can just talk about it now. Him and Geordi getting to like put their bromance like right out there for all to see was just absolutely beautiful and gorgeous. And I have watched the scene over and over and over, and it has made me well up every single time, and I love it. And as much as I didn't want Data back, I am so happy that he is back. It was just beautiful. It was beautiful. Yes.
Prince Spiner rules.
Dude, he's so good. I don't care what dirt he has. He is so fucking good. I don't know what else to say.
They need to give him a more flattering uniform, though. They gave like super flattering uniform to everybody, but not to Prince Spiner.
Well, he did finally get the leather at the end of the episode, but I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
One of those jackets.
Me too.
I mean, at least he doesn't have gold paint all over him anymore.
True.
Yeah.
True.
True.
Let's talk about Seven's moment, right? With Data now in control of the Titan, and Jack having bought some time for him. Data opens the emergency hatch on the bridge, sucking Vadic out, and Vadic breaks into 1,000 little pieces as she hits the Shrike. Vadic is gone. Shaw then lets Seven command, and she orders the Titan to and Mura, who's very happy because he had a gun to him early in the episode, to fire all the photon torpedoes and destroys the Shrike. What do we think about the retaking of the ship? Seven getting to have this moment, right? And then this being Vadic's and MC.
Okay, when Jack held out that little ball thing, if you did not yell out, he's holding a thermal detonator, you are fucking lying. That was so Return of the Jedi. I mean, I really like the Seven moment, the get off my bridge, even though I don't, her being there, like literally the only reason she was there is to give that line. But it's fine because it was a really good line. But I mean, it's really upstaged by fucking solids.
Oh, I mean, that line is just such a good last line. Yeah.
Yeah. I do have to apparently headcanon that Vadic is so affected by the experimentation that she can no longer survive in the vacuum of space, because we've known that about changelings since the beginning of Deep Space Nine. But they've given us a reason to be like, yeah, okay.
That they have organs and stuff, right? Like,
Yeah, but I did think
She
of that.
She says it too. She says that they give up some of their not immortality, but something.
Yeah, no,
resilience.
she does. I know what you're
Okay.
talking about.
Yeah, she says something like this. Yeah.
Okay, so they threw that in there for pedantic nerds like me.
Nerd proofed the season.
Fuck them for nerd proof in the season. But yeah, no, it was a great moment. But fucking Solids was the best.
Yeah,
So.
it really was. Yeah. Hawk.
It was a culmination of all the horror we went through with the episode and that, and all the terror and dread and that. Yeah, we get this moment and that there Jack opens up like a hermetically sealed like shield and that. I love that. I immediately thought thermal detonator and that it was some sort of a weapon and not like a force field and that it was, because even the computer analyzes its unknown technology.
Yeah.
And that. Where the hell did he get that thing? Did he bring it with him?
I know where he got it.
Oh, okay.
I think he ran in. My headcanon is he ran into Worf on the way. Dude, Worf has all the toys. He has a sword. He has a Nemesis style phaser. His shuttle cloaks, which I'm guessing he got a cloaking device from the Klingons on his way to go rescue Will. Dude's probably got like a freaking like what Wookie Chewie wears, like full of like
a bandolier.
A bandolier, thank you.
Yeah.
Full of cool gadgets and shit. So I think Worf just was like, "Yo, dude, boom, take this."
Good call. But yeah,
I think I want to see him like what's the name of the guy in 00 like James Bond who has like all the
007.
toys?
Oh, Q.
Q, yeah. Worf is
quartermaster.
Star Trek Q, but like he cannot be Q because Star Trek, but whatever. You know what I mean? Am I the only one that was super disappointed by Vadic's death?
No, I
understand
was
that,
too.
yeah.
I'm just sad that we don't get more Amanda Plummer going.
I think
forward
that's where
now.
I'm at more than anything.
Yeah.
I think
I'm
it
also
was
just wondering what's going to be for the last 2 episodes.
Well, I mean,
Future
this is
Man.
the big boss,
Future Man.
Future Man.
Future Man.
Future Man. I was just disappointed in the. I don't know. I don't have any other good way for her to go. Sure, she needed to die, I suppose, because if not, we nerd will be she's somewhere, she'll be back, and any other season of whatever will be maybe it's back.
How many years now have Draft and I've been like no body, no death about Narissa?
No,
so I mean,
Narissa is still
Narissa,
around. Nobody know death.
Yeah.
So. And on the other hand, that's what is cool about Star Trek is to be able to make up stories. I feel like by nerd proofing so much the stories, they kind of like forbidding us of making up more stories. Like the death of Vadic was so they could like throw her into vacuum and then would be maybe she's not dead.
Right.
Maybe the
Being
changeling
unhampered,
has
yeah.
still the activity. Maybe they're not because she said that. Maybe. And then they just blow her up to smithereen by like the Shrike being like, no nerds, no more Vadic. You're punished. Boo. Go home and shut up. Stop writing fan fiction. I'm just like, give us like a thread. It was kind of disappointing. And I feel she was such a great villain. A great villain deserved a great death. Like a la Moriarty. I don't know. Like something insane.
I thought her death
where
was pretty
maybe
fucking cool. I
survived.
don't know. I liked it.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
Moriarty's
it's the
got
best
kind of a
way.
punk death. Sorry, like you brought up my Sherlock Holmes nerd.
He gets put in
Yeah,
the
but,
box,
like-
right?
Oh, I thought you were talking about actual Sherlock, about actual Moriarty. But you're talking
dying
about
at Sherlock Holmes and that, or
Yeah. But you were talking about the Vadic's death. So
Yeah.
because Moriarty
death
doesn't
of the-
die. Moriarty doesn't
What-
die in Star Trek.
No, but
That's why
like
I was
what's
very
the actual
confused.
death of Moriarty? Like what are we talking about?
I'm so
confused.
confused.
I'm sorry. I've confused everything.
I think
No,
she
but tell
basically,
us.
yeah.
Oh, Moriarty
what death of
falls
Moriarty?
off a waterfall.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like
They
in
both do. Like Sherlock and
then
Moriarty
you're not
both
sure
do.
if
Yeah.
he's dead or not, and I thought it was cool.
Okay, fair.
No,
Well,
it's kind of epic to fall off a waterfall.
I do have I'm just gonna throw this out there to make you happy. So Vadic breaks apart in the vacuum of space. Maybe she can put herself back together, but it's gonna take 1,000 years to do it, and so she'll be able to do it by the 32nd century.
Season 5 baddie confirmed.
Or like somebody's like Peanut Humper is around and
Oh
just
my
gathers all the
God.
pieces of her and like, you know, I mean, you know what I mean. I
Yeah.
kind of, it was a death that makes sense. It makes sense in the episode. I was just like a bit, oh,
Yeah, I know.
bad.
I love the death. I thought it was a great way for a great villain to go out. The fucking solid lines. I think I'm gonna make a T-shirt and sell them for you guys. I think we need to do it. We'll make it look cool. I do love it. And I think someone mentioned in the chat. It's already gone. I think. I like how they didn't let you know until she hit the hull whether she was gonna hit the hull or get eaten by the deflector dish, which would have been equally like horrid, and awesome. I was literally standing while I'm still like crying from Data, you know, like doing the Data fist pump when the photon torpedoes go off and blow up the Shrike. Like, I loved everything about this. I thought it was so well done. I thought it was like, it's so satisfying after she does horrible shit earlier in this episode and in the last episode and all the horrible shit she's done throughout the season. So I thought it was a fitting death, though. Yeah, I'm sad that we don't get Amanda Plummer 910 unless we do, unless she does put herself back together, because that would be.
I mean, it's Star Trek. You
It's
never
Star Trek.
really
You
know.
never know. You never know.
I mean,
So,
also,
I mean-
she's a changeling. Another changeling could take that appearance.
Yep. True as
True.
well. True as well.
True,
Maybe that
true,
wasn't
true.
Vadic. Maybe, right? Like maybe that.
Oh, like this.
this
See,
whole
there's always a
season's
way.
been
There's
This is
always
why
a
you
way.
keep me around. This is why you keep
Shut
me around.
up, Star Trek Picard. We'll still get her.
Let's get into some trivia. Speaking of our dearly departed, maybe not departed, Vadic, last week we asked what tune she was whistling, and we had a lot of entries for this one. The correct answer was Three Blind Mice. Three Blind Mice. Yep. And see how they run. Sorry, I'm not going to say anymore. This week's winner was Jamie Gillis. Congratulations. You win a Picard
Bravo.
poster. Please email us your address or DM us however you got in contact with us. Please email us your address so we can send you a poster. Who wants to take this week's question? Who's got the
I have
outline
it.
up? A giraffe.
Oh, I got. Nope. Go for it.
My eyes are wide that she had it first. This is amazing.
It's Christmas. Happy New Year.
It's Passover. I'll take a Hag Samak. Happy Passover.
It's Passover.
Yep.
True. This week's question. Are you ready? In what episode does Data's memory box of Tasha first show up?
It's a good question. And to answer, you can email us at trivia@strangenewpod.com. You could DM me. People will use the contact form on our website to enter this week as well. So lots of ways to get in touch. That's your question this week. Thank you, Giraffe. Final moment of this episode. The big reunion, what we've all been waiting for. Them all sitting at the observation room desk in the chairs. Will even has to say the line for us to all get emotional again. We already talked about Data and Geordi. I don't know if you guys want again, you can. So they're all sitting there talking. What did we think about the reunion, MC?
I mean, we've been waiting for this for not even just 8 episodes. We've been waiting for this since Patrick Stewart announced Picard, because we knew that something like this had to happen no matter what he said, and we finally got it, and it was so beautiful. I do wish for all of her hugging, Deanna never got the chance to hug Bev. If I'm mistaken.
No, they didn't. But they did
get
touch hands. They had a nice moment.
Yeah, they got that nice little moment. But considering she was hugging everybody, I kind of wish that she had gotten a hug with Bev. But what else is there to say other than they're all together, and they're all happy that they had backup data. So
yep.
And I like that they
I see what you did here.
Yeah, I like that they acknowledge that the whole ending of season 1, that where it's like, yeah, that Data, like, he was very happy, but I'm really happy to be right here. When he said there was nowhere in the galaxy I'd rather be, tears.
So good.
Yep. Yeah, there was that shot. It was just like, oh my god, they're all going to be at the conference table together like they were in the old days and that. And it's like you just realize that TNG is not just Picard. Picard is, as a season, is not just about Picard. They are the sum of each other's parts, right? They're better as a whole than they are separate. And this scene just it had all the feels, and it just showed you that, especially when they start talking about the problem. But even before that, I mean, it also did emphasize how Troy and Deanna had this a friendship, and that rivaled Geordi and Data's, and that that Deanna when she would look for advice, she would often talk to Beverly, and that as though she was there, right? And which led to that little hand holding moment, which was great. It was great. But yeah, once they actually start talking about it, and that it really felt like an old TNG episode, and that everybody threw in their voice and their unique voice on their situation.
Yeah.
They just it was it's what we've been waiting for, and it didn't disappoint.
Listen, it was nice seeing them all here, but there's one thing I don't buy, and I will never buy it, is that one of their besties...
That there's swivel chairs in the 25th century?
Oh, that too. One of their bestie disappeared, bailed, okay? Came back with one of their other besties' kid, and nobody is fucking addressing it. Like, what is this? Please. Like, imagine I disappear and I come back with Hawk's baby, 25, because he looks like Picard, so, like 25 years later, and I'm like, we're like in like a shape, like hunted by Starfleet and Changeling, and nobody's gonna be, girl, what the fuck? Like, nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I wouldn't be holding your hand saying that how I
Thank
talk
you.
to you. I would be like, what the fuck?
Like, girl, I stuck to you, even if you're like, that is not besties. That is not besties attitude. We were speaking about how Deanna and Riker had this very like real way of being together. Even I didn't speak about that, but when your companion, when your partner is suffering, you will do whatever you can to take away their pain. I think that's like logical, but you call people out on their bullshit when you love them too. And that moment where they're just like, you know what, let's find like what's behind the red door. We may all die. If I'm going to die, I'm gonna call every single one of you on your bullshit before I die.
Yeah.
I mean, just a line would have made it like way more I don't want to say believable, but more Deanna.
It was very very Jean. It was very Jean. No conflict.
No conflict.
No
yeah.
conflict.
No
Yeah, very Jean.
Part of me thinks that conversation's coming later, and that Deanna's thinking like, okay, we'll talk about it at some
when
point.
I know what's happening, we'll see.
But she should have said it. She should have been like, I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna go back to you, and we're gonna talk. We're gonna put our like Arabic outfit, and we're gonna go dance like the old time.
Oh my god.
The stretching.
I quit
stretching. And you're gonna tell me all the tea, girlfriend. Like, this is the only thing at that moment where I was like, is somebody going to say anything?
Well, Data did say it. Data does say it. To be fair, he's like, the rather touchy, emotional elephant in the room is Jack,
Yeah, but I expected like Deanna to say something else, instead of like being like, I spoke to you, even if you like. She ghosted her best friend. That's worse than ghosting the father of your child, in my opinion.
Bev does a lot of ghosting.
Well, we know how Bev's.
It's too many ghost jokes.
You walked right into that one.
I did. I'm gonna go. Listen, the minute that Data walks into the room and the TNG music starts playing, the way that everybody's holding their chair, like, it's literally movements. Like, it's not just the actors in the room, it's the way that they're holding themselves, which seems just so shot for shot. I mean, I was bawling, I was crying. I'll talk about it when I give my rating of the episode, but there's obviously reasons why this is so important to me. But I was dying. Like, this is just for this, TNG is very important to me, and to have this moment was I didn't think it was a moment I was going to get again. So it's it's really cool. It's really cool. I don't have anything else to say on it. I'll talk about it in my rating. Final thoughts. I think we
Yes. I
one
have
thing. Oh, sorry. Before we
Go ahead.
go on, we never gave any credit to Rafi and her exceptional fight
Thank
scene.
you.
This,
Fuck yes,
exactly what I was
Rafi.
gonna say.
Go for it.
Exactly what. No, I mean, like, that's what I was gonna say.
Yep.
I was like, we didn't talk about Rafi.
Oh, so good.
Rafi's awesome. She killed it. And I love her little meeting with Deanna. She's like, I'm Rafi. Oh, Deanna. Weird times, right? And she's like, oh man, it was so good. Yeah.
And when Riker told her, like, you're scary.
yeah. Yeah. I love how Worf is so proud of her. I was
Yeah.
It's like you still keep throwing your left shoulder.
yeah. Oh, so
And
good.
you know, I was like, the first time he tells her you're scary, I was like, oh come on. And then the next time I was like, that's Riker funny, you know.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
no, we need more Rafi. Like,
We do.
she had like so few lines in that episode, but when Worf arrives and she's like, still me, it cracked me up so much. She's, you know, they're just like kind of erasing all the new cool
Mhm.
character they brought to life, and I was hoping Rafi was getting more, especially after the first episodes.
Right.
And we see her less and less, so I really hope that we're gonna see
Yeah.
her more and more for more episodes, because after, goodbye,
I know.
guys.
Fingers
Yeah.
crossed.
You know.
Fingers crossed. Yep.
Until they
I-
do a show about her. So
I do like that Worf and Raffi don't need to come up with any sort of code. It's just like still me.
Yeah.
But since I'm mentioning that, Picard and Geordi with the
Yes.
And
Your
Gates McFadden.
Gates- yeah.
Taste.
She almost
Mhm.
cracked too. They probably cut
Yeah.
that at the perfect moment too. It's pedestrian at best. Yeah, that's Picard.
It's so good.
It's so good.
I mean, to be honest, you don't criticize. People bring you their wine that they
no,
make.
you don't.
just-
You just
Yeah.
shut your mouth. You just shut
Yeah.
your mouth. Yeah.
Yeah.
What did Worf call it? Sour mead. Sour mead. I'm gonna skip Easter egg hunt because it's late. Let's rate this one out of 10 observation lounge in honor of Eric. Observation lounge shares for Eric to spin in. We'll go in the reverse order draft.
Oh, I don't know. I'll give it an 8. I like the story. I like the pace. There were choices that disturbed me and I didn't like. And yeah. Oh no. I'm unsure. I can't rate it. Like I liked it but didn't like it. I like it but didn't love it. I'm gonna say that. Yes.
Cool. Who's up? Hawk.
I'm going 10 on this one. It's just like, despite its problems, in that I recognize where people had their problems with this episode and that, and I totally agree with it and that. But even in spite of those, it was just like one of the most heartfelt, emotional episodes and that. And it's like saying a lot for this season because they've been killing it,
Yeah.
you know, episode after episode and that. But this one felt so special. This was a 10 for me.
MC.
Intellectually a 9. Because I did have some problems with it, but emotionally a 10.
Yeah. See, now I don't know how to say that because you kind of said how I feel, MC. I'm gonna preface this by saying I think the conversation that I had with you and Giraffe, I credit TNG, DS9, Voyager, all of those shows, mainly really TNG and DS9 with still being alive. It got me through like deep fucking dark times. I have a very soft spot in my heart for this crew, and seeing what happened with Data in this episode and them just sitting all at that table, like I was emotionally compromised during this episode. And even though it does have issues, the last, like, God, I would even say like half an hour from the moment that Data comes back to Vadic's amazing death, to Seven getting to fire the or Moore getting to fire the photons, to them all sitting together is just such an like emotionally like important moment for me that I have to give it a 10, despite it having some issues that we've talked about and are very warranted. So 10 for me. Let's go to the YouTube ones. Not a lot tonight. Did I miss some?
8 Vadic Ice Cube.
Oh, where's that? I like that.
That's
Oh,
Tara.
from Tara.
Vadic.
We have a 7
Yeah.
pieces of Vadic hit the Shrike from Haven. 7.7 tacky jokes and uneven characterizations. Ensign Rose says Michael Kwan, 833 out of 1,000 Vadic fragments. James Gale is an
So it's 8.3.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah,
833. Wait, what? Where?
Yeah.
Where?
833 out of 1,000 is 8.3 out of 10, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
No? Yeah, I'm
But-
doing the math right. Okay,
Oh,
so
okay.
8.3.
Wayner gives it 10 Vadic crystals. Lanky guy, 8 out of 10. If there are more, I'll read them. Let's get to the subspace to pull and
Jamie Gillis, 8.8.
Yep.
A lot of 8.
Lot of
See you,
lot of
chat.
8s. Yep. Let's do the subspace to pull and mailbag.
Comms, get me the dock master. Control tower reading, Commander.
Who wants to take the poll this week? Who wants
can take it.
Hit it, MC.
Okay, so for the subspace to poll, we've got 52% said my positronic heart. 24 said lost my breath. 14% said get off my bridge. And 10% said continue the torture.
Ouch.
It's like these episodes are like all over the place a little bit.
A little bit.
I
A little
mean,
bit.
Yeah.
We had another rating on YouTube. A shared fate gives it a 9 out of 10. MC, you took the poll. We'll go with Hawk. Can you take Matt's mailbag, please?
Sure. Matt Harker wrote this week's episode in 3 words. Oh, fucking solids, which I need on a t-shirt, followed by Vadic's face shattered and floating out of frame. Epic.
Draft, can you take Havens, please?
Heaven World, that's a solid entry, pun intended. I would say this is the low point of the season, but when there are nothing but 8s, 9s, and 10s, you do need to have a 7 at least once. I mean, we always need a 7.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
I really did love this episode, though. I do have questions I can't answer even after a couple watches, but still one that I do enjoy. And damn, Terry Meadows was right on Twitter again. Troy is the key to the red door, that is.
Indeed. I will take Andy Kaufman's. Man, what a great episode. I thought they built the tension and danger really well in the opening scene, and I love seeing Vadic go full Negan on the bridge lineup.
Yeah.
They let us simmer in our own dread for a long time, to the point where I wasn't sure where the episode was going. Deanna and Worf's reunion was so awkward, but I loved it. I don't really care if Brent Spiner does have dirt on the execs at Paramount. I loved every minute of him on screen. Here. When he told Geordi, I feel I lost it. Yeah, man. Oh,
Yep.
that's when like the heavy tears started coming down. I like that they are making Deanna a very important character by having her help Jack. And forevermore, when I see someone doing something stupid, I will think to myself, fucking solids. 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Awesome mailbag.
I want, if anybody ever hear Brent Spiner saying, like, joking about having dirt on Paramount, I think I've gone full circle.
Yeah,
If that reaches
Right.
Brent Spiner, I'm
Right.
gonna lose my mind.
that'd be
Like,
really funny.
please let me know.
Yeah, for sure. Can you take Shatterhands, please, MC?
Shatterhand wrote, another amazing episode filled with suspense, dread, sadness, and joy. I'm going to be so sorry to see this series go after the next 2 episodes, which I didn't think I'd find myself feeling after last season. Also, pouring one out for our Titan A homie Taveen. We hardly knew you.
Indeed. Cassie's, please, Hawk.
Cassie wrote, the first 25 minutes of this episode were my first ever 0 out of 10 for Picard. Troy joking to Riker about being sexually assaulted only to reveal, surprise, she mentally assaulted him. My favorite new side character getting unceremoniously kicked off. Troy stepping behind Riker instead of preparing to fight with him. I could go on. I won't, but I could. That being said, Spot did show up and Shaw looked incredibly good with a bloody face, so the episode is actually at least a 2 out of 10.
All right. Can you take Tara's limerick this week, please, Giraffe?
It's me reading the lyric. Let's go. Okay. Tara's back with another limerick. Vadic as the Titan, with the crew still under attack. No one has a plan for how to get her back. But then Data's positrons manipulate lores. He is again Geordi's BFF evermore. And we still don't know Jack about Jack. I can't read English poetry, but that was fun. Thank you.
Yeah.
Try to homage poor Vulcan Tveen, but just couldn't work it out.
It's all right. It was still a really good one. I love
Excellent.
these. I will. Oh, it's fitting that I actually get to take Colin's. Colin wrote, "Okay, Julian, here I am in the middle of the afternoon. I know you'll be proud. I am."
He was.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I find definite agreement with Cassie in that the first half of the show was hard, but not to the intensity that she did. I had actual tears well up at Data's eventual explanation of his letting go of those memories and his eventual integration into a wonderful whole new person. That was worth the price of admission. Yay. Seeing the whole gang back together was the cause of more tears welling up. Loved that. And seeing Vadic meet her supposed end, and I'm not 100% sure she did, now that we're talking about it, right? She could put herself back together, or that wasn't her that floated out of there. Who knows? Was awesome. P.S. I am so upset to lose to Veen. 9 out of 10. MC, can you take Chris's, please?
Chris wrote, "Wowsy zousy." Data and Laura hanging out in a 90s screensaver. Super amazing action. Not my Vulcan Bay. Although that was very telegraphed with acting and camera shots. The combining of Data and Laura was adorable.
Boo. Here, wait. I'm going to give an honorary.
Get off my bridge.
There you go.
Because Amanda Plummer did so good as Vadic, I have to turn this up to 11. Without her, it's a 9. Without Worf, it's an 8. Will the face miss its friend?
We'll see. We did have another rating, a 10 out of 10 for me for Surrender from Donnie Pearson, who, by the way, thoughts and condolences with you. Their mother passed 4 mornings ago. So thoughts, my friend. Sorry.
Dad.
Oh, sorry, Dad. Sorry, your dad. I'm so sorry. Very sorry for your loss. Thank you for being here with us tonight. Can you take Ensign Rose, please, Hawk?
Yes, Ensign Aaron wrote, I enjoyed this episode. It's not in my top 3, but it had some great moments. I think it suffers just like episode 7 did of dragging out the mystery around Jack too long and some uneven writing, especially on the bridge. But it has some of my favorite Data scenes, and I was very happy to see Tasha and Spot. I hope Deanna, Seven, Rafi, and the other ladies get more to do in the next 2 episodes, as their lack of screen time continues to be the most grating thing about the season. Fucking Solid should go down in Trek history as one of the best closing lines for a character, too.
Indeed. Michael Kwan's, please, Giraffe.
Michael Kwan wrote, "I enjoyed the episode because I love a good bad villain. I will miss Vadic and some of the most emotive and emoted dialogue of Star Trek. Data's resolution was perfect. Although the writer's dropping of Lal has been painful, and Spot's acting in his scene was spot on. My worry.
Oh, wait. Hold on.
Just shut up. My worry, though, is how the show will resolve with only 2 episodes left. It took 8 episodes to resolve 2 major crises, but the biggest crisis of Frontier Day remains and is bearing down on the Federation."
Nice. And I will close it out with Rude Parakeet. This was a really satisfying episode. I'm glad Picard directly addressed the whole terminating his consciousness thing with Data, and we finally got some Troy scenes. Vadic was a fantastic villain, and I'm sad to see her go. May she rest in peace, or should I say pieces. Y'all getting punny tonight in the mailbag.
Are you f***ing kidding me?
Last week everybody was spicy, and now everybody's
Just
funny.
funny. I
mean,
love it. Speaking of spicy, I'm getting spicy because it's past my
He
bedtime.
wants to go to
I'm gonna
bed.
turn into a pumpkin. So this was a great episode, guys. I had a lot of fun with this one tonight. 2 more to go, folks. 2 more to go. We will be back next week with episode 309, whatever it's going to be titled. I don't know. Probably Frontier Day. Going by these episode days. I don't know.
I hope Frontier Day 1 and Frontier Day 2.
That would be good. That would be good. Anywho, folks, that is going to do it for this one. Thank you so much to everyone in the YouTube collective for joining us tonight. It was so much fun. For Hawk, for MC, for Giraffe, I am Julian. I will say live long and prosper. Majram, and good night.
Thanks for beaming into our podcast today. If you want to keep the hailing frequencies open, you can subscribe on Apple and Google Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. Like what you hear? put in a good word with Starfleet and leave us a 5-star review.